Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the match preview for the Merseyside derby at Anfield. Everyone's favourite game to preview, isn't it, Terry? Well, so much to look forward to. Given our great record there down the years and whatnot. So, yeah, obviously we go into this one off the back of a really good win against Arsenal. Travelling to Anfield on Monday night, which is a interesting one. I mean, it always gets moved for TV anyway, but don't know, I've picked some peculiar slots for these games these days. But what's it going to be in a Monday night game?
Quite surprised because I didn't think the would like Merseyside Police would like a game like this played in the evening, but it is what it is. Don't think effect in terms of how the teams will perform or what have you, but it'll make for a good atmosphere in the stadium on the night. But it's in their stadium, so might not work to our advantage that. So I'd rather it be a different time, but could be worse, I suppose. I'd rather that than another early, Saturday kick-off. I think they're this ones they're harder to get up for. So, yeah, we'll see.
Whereas I'd just rather this game not be played at all. If I could avoid this fixture, I would, mate, honestly. I can't stand the Anfield derby. I mean, I can just about tolerate the Goodison derby. Whereas the Anfield one, I don't think I've watched an Anfield derby for a good, I reckon it's been a good 5 years, I think, since I last watched. Like the last derby I watched at Anfield was the one where Pennington scored. So it's going back a couple of years. Pennington was still actually a youngster then and not the 27-year-old we released. So, um, yeah, it's been quite a while since I've watched an Anfield derby because I just can't bring myself to watch it. And just like I say, it just brings the worst out in me. So, you know, I'd usually take myself to the cinema on my own or something and hide away for a couple of hours, I'll be honest with you.
Not our favourite fixture, is it really? But
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, I know form goes out the window and what have you, but it's as good a time as any to play them. They're not playing very well. They're in a proper rut, and we could still be on a new manager bounce. I mean, I'm not expecting anything just because the gulf in the two teams is still vast, regardless of what's going on this season. But they will look at this, and you speak to Liverpool fans, and a lot of them are like, "Oh, we're not gonna, we're not looking forward to this game. It's going to be difficult. We've got Sean Dyche now, so he knows exactly how to play against us and the type of setup that we don't like playing against." That's probably all true. So it could be the best time for a while to play them. We beat them a couple of years ago at Anfield in the under Carlo Ancelotti, and we had like injury problems then. If you remember that night, so we started with Richarlison and James Rodriguez up front. Now we'd love to have that now, but back then it was like Calvert-Lewin's not starting, and he was right in his golden patch then. So we've gone to Anfield recently and with a pragmatic manager and set up in a way to frustrate Liverpool and got a result. So just got to hope for that again. Sean
Yeah,
Dyche was the first manager to win at Anfield for what was it, like 86 games or something like that when he was with Burnley. He ended their home undefeated streak not long ago. I think that was in COVID as well. Yeah, so you've got to just go there with the idea that we're going to set ourselves up to get something, and Liverpool aren't the unsung Liverpool they have been in the last few years.
yeah, we've just got to hope it stays that way as far as Liverpool are concerned. As far as we're concerned, it'll be more of the same, really, because obviously we got a good result against Arsenal, a brilliant result, but a really solid performance. And, I'm sure we'll probably try and stick to something along those lines, Sure, given that it's horses for courses and it's a different team we're up against, he might tweak some things, but personnel wise, I can't imagine it's going to be too drastically different. The only big one being you just mentioned there, I think Calvert Lewin's going to miss this game.
He's a doubt. It's not guaranteed he'll miss it. He's a doubt for the game. I think personally, mate, if he's in doubt, leave him out because our survival, sort of campaign is built a lot on Calvert Lewin being fit and in the team. And I think it's more important to have him fit for the Leeds game at home than it is for Anfield's away. Anything we get at Anfield is a bonus. And I don't think it'll live and die on whether Calvert-Lewin's fit. It'd be nice to have him, but if you offer me now, you've got to have him for either Anfield or Leeds at home. Then it's going to be Leeds at home, because if we can beat them, we're far more likely to beat them than we are to win at Anfield. Then it not only pushes us further up the table, it also claws back a team that are right around us. So I know it's frustrating when you lose players around the derby because you're not going with your best foot forward. But even if there's a slight doubt, for me, don't play him, don't risk. Because if he aggravates, his injury or picks up a new injury or whatever at Anfield, then we'll be sorry, because we need him.
Yeah, we do. Well, I'd like to think that he won't, but who would you put in his place? Obviously, Mopé came on and didn't really. We sort of lost our forward momentum when he came on. Would you go with Ellis Sims?
No, no,
No.
because everyone's clamouring for Ellis Sims to start because physically he's a little bit more, impressive than Mopai. But that's just when you look at a still picture of the two of them. I think Ellis Sims, from what I've seen of him, does a lot less off the ball than Mopai does. And yeah, he scored some goals in the Championship, but that doesn't mean you can do it in the Premier League. And I'm not saying don't use Ellis Sims at all, but you can't start Ellis Sims in an away derby. That's just ludicrous. You might lose the player if he gets overwhelmed or has a bad game or anything. Then it's hard to come back from that. And I'm not even saying you'd have to use Mopai, but if it's out of the two of them, I'd probably start with Mopai and look to use Sims in other games. But I think we might see something a bit different. I mean, there's no guarantee we're going to play the exact same way as we played against Arsenal. He might, Dyche might see a weakness he can exploit in Liverpool, maybe, and he might decide to put Decore and Gray up front. Like, it's not quality-wise, that's not the same as Richarlison and James Rodriguez, but that is exactly what happens with Carlo Ancelotti. He identified a weakness and used an unorthodox pairing up front against Liverpool away. So it could be that we're going to sit in I imagine we will sit in a low block and surrender the ball for a lot of the game. We'll have a low amount of possession. But then, because Liverpool are vulnerable down the channels because they've not got Van Dijk and their full-backs aren't playing well at the minute, he might play Gray up front and go, right, when you get the ball, or when we get out of our defensive action, we're going to get it up to you and you're going to go into them channels and cause problems. And Decore can just stay central for the link between you and the midfield. It could be a complete surprise. It could not be Mopé for that reason, that, we need to break out quickly, which Mopé obviously can't do. But, we'll see. We just got to get behind all the players. And I said this the other day. Getting behind the players in this fight doesn't just mean the ones you like. It's easy to get behind players you like. Got to get behind the McNeils, got to get behind the Mopés, got to get behind the Michael Keanes. Obviously, I've been a supporter of McNeil, but I've not been a big supporter of Michael Keane. If Michael Keane comes back into this team, I'm going to have to back him. And everyone's going to have to do the same with Mopé if he starts. Because look at how good McNeil was against Arsenal after being, given a bit of a short, shrift the last few months. You've got to just hope that you've got a tactical plan and the players can execute it, because Liverpool are vulnerable. They're not firing on all cylinders. They've got key players missing. Mopai is not a Sunday League player. He might be able to do something for us. Is he as good as Calvert-Lewin? No, he's not. But doesn't mean he can't, hurt them. He can't, hasn't got a role to play. Is Mopai? You could just hope that whatever the plan is works.
We'll have to wait and see. But like I say, it could be a completely different system. You just never know. Obviously, we're only 2 games into Sean Dyche's tenure, so we don't know if he could be a bit more of a tinker man than we expected. But he's not known for that. But it's make do amends sometimes, especially when you give him where we are lacking in numbers up front. So you never know.
Yeah, so I mean, he hasn't really got the options to tinker, has he? But it'll be interesting who lines up where. You could see unorthodox things. I imagine he will still pack the midfield out again, because that's where Liverpool lack a lot of energy and legs. But you never know. He could look at it and go, right, well, I played McNeil on the left against Arsenal, but I actually want Amari Gray on the left because because Trent Alexander-Arnold leaves space behind him, and I want someone who's fast who can exploit that. So I'm going to take McNeil out and play Maupay and Gray. You just don't know. It's very it's the thing with a manager. You get to grips with a manager after like a run of games, and you sort of can predict and why they do things. Whereas when it's a new manager, you sort of don't know who he trusts more, who he relies on, what type of thing he tries to do. Like no one saw Decore coming in the last game. I think people may have thought that Decore would get more involved than he did. Everyone was doing 4-4-2, weren't they, before the game, because that's what Sean Dyche plays, and then he rolls out with 5 in midfield with a line across the middle to just sort of suffocate Arsenal's midfield play. Completely different than what anyone predicted. So it could be a case of that again. You could see a different formation, could see a strange lineup, could see something mad like a Wobie up front, and something like that. You just don't know. They'll be working on it now to try and figure out a way of hurting Liverpool. That's the main thing, whilst keeping our integrity and our shape as our own team.
Yeah, it's going to be a very strange one. I think Sean Dyche is an astute manager. I think that's the one thing. I'd be terrified going into this game with Lampard in charge, but I think Sean Dyche will be able to figure something out that'll at least maintain some elements of respectability for us in this game, no matter what happens. And that's the redeeming quality that if things don't go according to plan, that I don't think we'll be embarrassed. And that's usually my biggest fear when we go into this fixture, because some of the games we've had there over the years, it's just wears you down thinking about it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to gas yourself up and be optimistic just because the record is so bad. But it's we finally broke the hoodoo with Carlo Ancelotti. We've won at Anfield now in the last couple of years. It's not 25, 50, 100 years since we won at Anfield. And I know it wasn't strictly in the normal circumstances, but if our win there doesn't count, then their title there doesn't count, because that was both in COVID. So yeah, I'm more optimistic now, just from having Sean Dyche, that we can go there and execute a shithouse plan, because I think Lampard would have rolled up and we'd have just got an absolute chasing round the pitch, and we'd have come away with another 4-0. And there's not, we have said that now, we'll probably get that again. But I think both teams at the minute will probably just say, should we just have a point each and skip the game?
Knock it around the back. I want to have some toast.
Yeah. Well, Liverpool fans are not going into this one. Liverpool fans who I speak to are mates of mine and that are going into this going, oh, we're not going to win this. You're going to beat us and all that. I was going, it's mad that we're 18th in the league, and Liverpool fans are thinking we're going to turn up at Anfield and beat them. It's like, I just think they've seen that Arsenal game and just think, oh, Sean Dyche, here we go. He's going to do to us what all the other managers this season have done and play exactly how we don't want them to play, and upset us. And hopefully we do. I'm looking forward to win, lose or draw some of Jurgen Klopp's comments after the game, because he'll spin a yarn about the referee.
He'll have something to say about Dyche's tactics.
Yeah, of course he does. He always has with Dyche, and he does it with us as well. His team are just as bad in terms of aggression and dirtiness in this derby as ours are. But they've spanned the narrative now that we're the problem in these derbies, when there's clips of like loads of horrible tackles that they get away with and we don't. You know what I mean? Like, so there'll be loads of that, loads of hypocrisy about like the physicality of the game, and it's going to be a tasty game anyway. Both teams do it to each other. It's a big derby, but yeah, the perception will not record both teams as being as bad as each other as usual. It'll always be one team's worse than the other because the other team moans about it more.
God, so we can't bemoan. Yeah, fingers crossed that all goes well, but I'm not going to go too much in depth about this one, because, as we both touched on, it's not my favourite fixture, and it's one of those I like to get out the way, even when things go well. So, even on a good day,
it's horrible, isn't it? It is. Well, it brings. I mean, if you live in the city or whatever, it does bring out the worst in everyone, doesn't it? Like
Really,
it's
really
gone from
does.
it turns the people who win turn into horrible bastards who like to cause trouble, and the people who lose bite, they take it. They rise to the bait, and it just brings out the horrible sides of both fan bases, spray painting on things and all that
Oh,
shit. I
not
hate.
that. Not. We can't be having none
Yeah,
of that nonsense anymore.
yeah. Honestly, I hate all that. It's a game of football, and I'd love to win. I hate it when we lose, but fuck me, I hate all that shit. Like spray painting, like nice
Ireland,
mural.
it's just no need for it.
Yeah, and like some of the stuff that gets spray painted as well, just ridiculous. I just hope none of that happens, but it will. It'll all happen. It's get to about Saturday, Sunday, you'll start seeing all those fun and games. But
Oh Jesus!
what are
Well,
we
I'll be
gonna do?
going. That's why I'll probably go to the cinema and watch a film that I don't even like, just to forget that this even takes place. So, give it your team. You've heard our piece on it. What's your take on it, guys? Let us know your comments. Get the comments coming in. Give this video a like and subscribe, and give us your predictions as well. We'll go before we go. Actually, what's your prediction for the game, Terry? Dare we do this?
I'm gonna go for a very optimistic, some would say very naive, 0-0.
Yeah, I'll go with 1-1. That's optimistic by Derby standards for me. So yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, um, yeah. So there you go, guys. Get your predictions coming in as well. Like I say, give the comments. Let us know your opinions. Give this video a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, we'll see you on the other side of the derby. Thanks for tuning in, guys, on the Toffee Blues.